Hey everybody, it's John and Jackie of OpenLove101.com. And I wanted to ask Jackie, recently, her book came out, Swinger's Lifestyle, The Questions You're Afraid to Ask, and some, all over the world, people are buying it and reading it, and these women found out about it, and they're in traditional monogamous marriages. And they have a little get-together, and they asked Jackie to come to one of their get-togethers and talk about her book and the Swinger's Lifestyle, because they were just really curious. And first of all, it blew me away that these married women in a monogamous relationship would have, curiosity about that, because normally they're just kind of standoffish to that topic. But they really wanted her to come out, and I just would like Jackie to share about how that experience went.
Well, like John said, I had been invited to come and talk a little bit about my book, and I wasn't quite sure how I was going to be received, since I was going to be stepping into an arena that was outside of what I do,
Talking to swingers.
Yeah, I'm used to talking to fellow swingers, so I was really going to have this opportunity to kind of talk about the benefits that I see from the swinging lifestyle to people that really don't have a lot of the knowledge about what we do. And it was really going to be a great platform for me to kind of shout the praises of the swinging lifestyle. So I decided I would just go in and just tell my story, which starts out just like a lot of these women. I had started out life in the traditional monogamous role model. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, please don't misunderstand. I'm not saying that, being in a swinging lifestyle opposed to being in any other kind of relationship model is, one's better than the other, because it depends on the people that are involved in it. If the couple is happy in their union and everything's working, then that's what they need to be doing. That's what they need to stick to. But why I like to talk about it is because I think more often than not, we kind of get in this lemming mentality where we're all trying to kind of shuffle through in this narrow-minded platform that we only have one option available to us, and we don't. We have a lot. So coming into that arena and talking to these women, and I barely got into my story before the hands went up, and the questions started really coming about, what was it about the lifestyle, and how did I let my husband, not just play with other women, but talk to other women? How was I okay with that? How was I okay doing what I did? And people trying to kind of come to grips with that, using their own marriage model, of course, in comparison. And it was really kind of encouraging to see all of these women, instead of passing judgment, which I think we can do a lot of times if we don't understand something, they were really accepting and open-minded of what my marriage model had brought to my marriage. And there was some kind of surprising comments. I mean, there was one woman I remember in particular that said something like, "Wow, you seem so self-assured and confident in what you're doing." And it made me realize that sometimes the perception people have of swinging, it made me think, gosh, if I could just go talk to a lot of people that aren't involved in swinging and maybe talk to them a little bit, they might come away with a different response. But probably the biggest benefit that I took away, and that I'm hoping that the other women did too, was the sense of freedom to talk about some things that traditionally tend to be taboo. When you talk about swinging, the first thing people think of, obviously, is sex and just kind of this orgy mentality that my partner and I are having if we're in the swinging environment. But it goes so much deeper. And what I was able to show these women, I hope, was that they could talk about some sexual issues in a group, and it was almost like I gave them permission to talk about it.
That's cool.
And it was exciting. It was exciting for everybody. Everybody was trying to talk at the same time. and everybody, I think, came away really positive from it and curious and finding that maybe it's not quite so taboo. Maybe there's some things that I do in my relationship that might help them in their relationship, that they could, some tools that they could use to help even strengthen more their marriage with their partner. So that's
great. Did you'd mentioned to me today there was even some talk about like sexual positions or new sexual things. I mean,
well, that's what I was saying. This whole we're going to talk about sex, and so it's going to be okay for you to ask your questions. There's not going to be anything that's going to throw me or that I'm going to say, oh gosh, we can't talk about that. So I got a lot of questions about, what's the craziest sexual thing that you've done, or what's the craziest sexual position that you've been in. And, when I could give my response, they were like, oh, what are you talking about? How do you do that? How is that done? Is that really possible? Oh, I've heard about that. I think squirting was one of them, just to give you an example. There were several women who were like, oh, that's impossible, or, oh, that's a real thing. So it was, that was fun too. So it was talking about toys and different positions and, all of that. It was fun to talk to women that just, you can just tell that when they go home, they're going to maybe try some of that.
And, we hope when we started doing this, our Open Love 101 site, that it would be able to reach people that maybe were in just traditional relationships. Because I really do think we've learned so much in what we do that people would be able to utilize it in their relationship and not have an open relationship. Right. I mean, sexual things, there's so many sexual things you can do as a couple that I think it's really amazing to me that these couples have been together for so long and yet they don't talk about sex with each other.
Right.
And Jackie, like you said, I think she really gave them, maybe talking about it in this group session of women will give them the courage to share something like that with their men. Or maybe they went home to their husbands later and told them about these things. He's like, oh, really? Let's give it a try. I mean, I can just imagine how much fun some of those women would have had afterwards.
Well, and and that was kind of the great takeaway from this is, none of these women left saying, oh, I'm going to become a swinger, because that wasn't the point. The point was to give them some information, a little bit of knowledge of what we do, and to see how, everybody can kind of work together. Everybody can learn from everybody else. This isn't about, oh, I have a better relationship than you do because you don't do what I do, or vice versa. This is about, gosh, this is what works for us, and this is what we have found works, and they can say the same thing, and we can kind of swap notes and just learn from each other. I mean,
right.
That's really what this is about at the end of the day.
It's so awesome. So please sign up for our newsletter at openlove101.com, and we'll send you notices or newsletters of our upcoming video and blogs. In the meantime, have a great time swinging, and we'll see you.
See ya.
Man, Jackie, that was a great video. And if you guys liked it, subscribe below and you'll get plenty more where that came from. That's for sure.